Hey guys, Buffing Game Bad today bringing out a video, and we got some more official information this time. The first official information here via blog post over by Infinity Ward for the mode DMZ, which will be launching this Wednesday, November 16th. We saw this mode featured at Wednesday's play and capture session by some select streamers, and the footage you'll see in the background is going to be from DrLupo. Obviously, you can see him in the footage, so he gave everyone blanket permission to use this footage. So shout out to DrLupo. You can find the link down below in the description to his YouTube channel if for whatever reason you're somehow not aware of who he is. He's a great YouTuber. He used to do Twitch, and that he streams daily, a lot of Tarkov and other games, and lately COD as well. So it was interesting to watch him and Landmark play this mode, especially because they have deep Tarkov backgrounds, very good at that game. So it was fun to watch them play. And the live event, actually, we got very little information or context about a lot of the things. So we were watching them play, but honestly, I mentioned in the video the other day, it was honestly very hard to kind of determine what they were supposed to be doing and things like that. So now we have an official blog post from Infinity Ward. I'm going to read through this with you guys here, and I'll leave the link down below for this blog post. You guys can find it there. Now, we do have an exclusive unlock weapon here for Season 1 that's going, it sounds like the unlock criteria is going to be solely through the mode DMZ. There's going to be some sort of challenge to unlock the M13B or the Sig Sauer MCX Virtus short barrel rifle, or the SBR is what the M13B is in real life. So there's going to be the unlock criteria for that weapon here at the start of Season 1 will take place in DMZ to unlock this. So that's going to be pretty cool. It means I'm going to have to be jumping into DMZ before Warzone because I want my M13. So let's go ahead now and I'll read through this here with you guys. And again, leave a link down below for DrLupo's channel as well as the blog post for this down below. So starting out here, coming from Infinity Ward, again, the blog post, we're thrilled to have debuted our first look at DMZ this week with streamers and creators at the IW studio. Heading into Warzone 2 launch week, we wanted to get a bit deeper into the exciting new experience. Here is what players can expect for DMZ. And then the description here is that DMZ is a dangerous, diverse, and deep open world experience where players can choose their level of intensity, even in its earliest form. The DMZ experience is built for the most hardcore completionist, with faction missions, contracts, world events, stocking up on stashes, helping out other squads, or cause chaos, breaking open locked areas, and much more. This living world has plenty to conquer on day one. Continuing on here, this sandbox mode is where players of all skills and levels can choose their own way to play and win. The goal of this mode is to loot up and get out alive. It's about exploring an active world of AQ forces and enemy operators. That meaning because it is a PvPvE mode, so player versus environment. So the AQ forces will be the environment, aka the AI. So against the enemy. Against AQ forces, enemy operators, completing missions and objectives, and exfiltrating with loot, cash, valuables, and rewards to build up your inventory for the next infiltration. Set your own tasks, or set your own stakes, and ultimately earn some high-tier items that be used across the rest of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0. While players can choose how and where they engage, all operators must exfil from El Mazrah exclusion zone to reap the reward. So if you don't extract, you're going to lose everything that you had collected or even brought in, depending on if it's insured. Players will ultimately fight for the mastery of the mode by discovering all the experiences and rewards it has to offer. While DMZ begins in El Mazrah, no one quite knows where it may lead. That meaning, again, that kind of hinting we're going to get additional Warzone maps down the road and DMZ experiences. So I think there's already been leaks and rumors as to what that second map is going to be set in the Los Alamos type map area. That whole map is already built out, and we've seen those images online. So diving into the stash and inventory system. Now this is key. We saw a little bit of this in the gameplay, but again, we didn't have any context for any of this, and nothing was explained. So this is the first explanation really officially of this mode, period. So stash and inventory at DMZ involves keeping a stash or inventory of weapons and other valuable items from the exclusion zone. Players will start with a small inventory of free contraband weapons. Contraband guns are only usable in DMZ, and if you lose them on the battlefield, they are gone forever. Weapons acquired from other players or enemies on the field are considered contraband after extracting with them. And again, those contraband items will be available in your stash. Call of Duty is about customizing weapons, so we still want to bring that into DMZ, whether it's a personal modification or a weapon blueprint. At first, you will have one insured weapon slot for any personal loadout weapons or blueprint weapons. Additional insured weapon slots can be earned by leveling up the factions. For those looking for alternative path to unlocking weapons versus traditional weapon XP through matches, should be excited to plan their infills. Acquiring a contraband weapon will unlock the base weapon in the gunsmith, usable in multiplayer and battle royale. So if you don't have a weapon unlocked and you get that weapon in, so the M13, if somebody gets it day one and you haven't completed the unlock criteria and you extract with it, you have it unlocked. So any weapon that you haven't unlocked yet, you can extract with it from DMZ and you'll have it unlocked and ready to go. So you don't even need to hit that level. So you can unlock whatever weapon you want if you're day one just by extracting with it, if you didn't have it already. If you lose an insured weapon, remember insurance takes time unless you're willing to pay the right price. Extracted cash or valuables speed up the cooldown of these slots. So insured items, again, this is where a lot of the Tarkov references came from earlier. You can see this. It sounds, the descriptions here we're seeing is like a very light version of Tarkov, essentially. But what they're saying is with the insurance, it sounds like you're definitely going to get something back, but there's going to be a long cooldown period, and you can speed that up and get your stuff back faster by paying extra in-game currency. If your backpack fills up during a match, operators can visit one of 6 dead drop locations to stash items for extraction in a later match, which is crazy. So that means maybe you go in to it, you have enough gear, you drop it at a dead drop location, and then you come back maybe another game and you can extract with that gear if you pick it up at this station, which is wild. So I'm excited to see how that works. Next up here, infill, loadout, and missions. So DMZ is a trio-based mode with the option to play as a solo or duo by disabling squad fill. We recommend you start in trios, and Al-Mazrah exclusion zone is a dangerous place. To teach you how to play and give you the first rewards in DMZ, you accept faction missions. So this is, again, just like the traders in Tarkov is really, again, the parallel to this. These are from our world's most powerful PMC groups, that being the Legion, White Lotus, and Black Mose. Or Muse. With the Legion being your starting faction, and the other two unlocked by completing faction missions. And it sounds like you're going to be earning rep here with those factions. So by completing a certain number of faction missions, you can advance up the faction mission tiers. These missions offer significant challenges coupled with significant unique rewards by completing them. So players will infiltrate the exclusion zone with their chosen loadout, insured or contraband, or they can bring nothing at all. Sometimes all it takes is a pair of fists in a dream, which we saw that in the gameplay. I think Swag and them, after a game or two, they ended up having to go in with just fists, or at least Swag did. They didn't have any weapons. So we would call that a zero to hero run, basically, in the Tarkov world. So the exact point of infiltration is random every single time, which is cool, because in Tarkov you have like set spots where people spawn, and those spawns can be rough, and if you know the spawn points, you can push people and get them right off the bat. So random every single time, which is good, ensuring that no 2 DMZ matches will be the same. So that's good news. It's going to be a unique experience every single time from what they're describing. To get more items, players will have to extract them out of the exclusion zone with their backpacks. This will provide an experience for players to complete a supply run, as an example, in which you can complete a run just to gear up for future deployments. Again, this is very sounds like the same description of Tarkov if you were describing it to somebody in a high level term. So it's basically high level Tarkov. In addition to the backpack, players can exfil from the world with on-soldier items, including backpacks, self-revive, armor plate, carriers, etc. This is critical for players looking to engage with high-tier enemies early in the match in their next infill. So that, again, very Tarkov-like. Everything I'm reading here sounds like Tarkov. That's really cool. So now, within the exclusion zone. So what's going to take place in the exclusion zone here in the DMZ mode? Other than completing the objectives laid out in the faction missions, players are also free to explore the exclusion zone and collect more items for their inventory and take on optional assignments. These can be completing contracts such as rescuing a hostage, taking down a high value target or an HVT, or taking part in a world event such as activating a SAM turret or a UAV tower. Like Warzone 2, players can expect logical looting, which is this is really good to see. I'm glad this is in Warzone 2, but again, this is going to be great in DMZ. I think it's going to add a lot more immersion and put more emphasis on looting in both modes. But saying players can expect logical looting. Items exist in Al-Madra in places they would exist in the real world, such as medical supplies being in bathroom cabinets or hospitals, police station, or military outposts may contain more tactical gear and weapons. There are only a few limits to where you can explore Al-Madra. First, locked spaces, which are special areas in the exclusion zone, and strongholds guarded by AQ forces. Players must obtain keys to gain access to these high-value places. So we have what's going to be called two spots here. We have the strongholds, which we've heard about, and then the other one being locked spaces within special areas within the exclusion. So those, again, both are going to require keys. Don't know what the locked spaces refer to, but that should be interesting as well. Also, Al-Madra won't have a circle collapse, but players will need to monitor radiation as well as occasional sandstorms. So we have some sort of dynamic weather taking place here, which means that could evolve over time as well. We do not, we don't yet know what is causing this deadly energy and what operators may get from finding its source. So interesting. So you find the source. There's going to be, again, hinting at some big reward that you can only get in DMZ. Again, there is no definite objective, or no definite objective or path to victory in DMZ. You are responsible for mapping your own success in this mode with plenty of rewards for your efforts, such as double XP tokens, calling cards, weapon charms, and other cosmetics. And here's the big one here. Finally, the ultimate reward, the M13B assault rifle. This functional weapon is part of the Brew and Ops platform, along with the new Bass P SMG. Can be yours to use across all Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 modes. So you're going to be able to unlock the M13B here via some challenges in DMZ. We just don't know what that is yet, but that will be unlockable through DMZ, and we're probably not going to need to know what that challenge criteria is until maybe the day before or the day of Season 1 launch. Next up, exfil. So winning is determined by players' choices and consequences that follow, but ultimately exfilling from the exclusion zone is your main objective each match. Part of DMZ's design is to make every match matter. Anything you get in DMZ that is in your loadout or backpack is lost upon death. Players can still be revived with their squads even after dying, although it will take longer than usual versus being just downed regularly. So if you're dead, it's going to take longer to be revived versus just being down. But if everyone drops, all that precious loot is gone for good. So very interesting. Again, that's minus the insurance part, but the only exception is the insured weapons, which are part of your stash. So there you go. And last here, they mentioned this is just the beginning. So we've built a massive living world here in Al-Madra with challenging enemies, deep mission systems, side quests, secrets, and more. As we look to the future, we hope to reward players for exfiltration in new ways as we work towards new uses for cash and items. DMZ does not set out to replicate, again, hinting towards not being trying to be a copy paste or anything like that of Tarkov. So DMZ does not set out to replicate, and we can't wait to show you how it plays in the wild. We hope all players will share their adventures with us, as well as feedback about their experiences. See you all in Al-Madra beginning November 16th. So it seems like Warzone, DMZ, and all of that, potentially all of Season 1 will be dropping on November 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's a lot of information here. Again, DMZ, this sounds awesome, and I saw some information yesterday. Some people were saying that DMZ was basically just Plunder 2.0, which it couldn't be further from that. And other people were saying it's launching in beta because of the feedback that was given and the backlash from the event on Wednesday, which is also not the case. So it is launching in beta. I think this was leaked to us via Tom Henderson, Ralph's Valve, and others months and months ago. So this was not something that was shocking at all, and definitely they wouldn't take, if it was a complete game and not meant to be a beta, they don't just magically switch a game back to a beta state based on streamers, a handful of streamers playing 3 total games. So there's, again, a lot to be learned here, and it seems like a lot of it was just, there was a lot when we were watching the footage, especially not knowing this, that you don't even, know what's happening. Even knowing this now, it's going to be interesting to dive in there and try and understand all it, because there's a lot to dissect here. I'm looking forward to playing this. Let me know what you guys think. This, again, Crash and I have talked about this a lot on the scope, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it a lot on Monday's episode here on my channel and his channel, and then that'll be uploaded to the scope channel the following day. But this does sound basically like an easier version, a more introduction version of Tarkov. Now, they state there that they're not setting out to replicate. I'm sure they're going to make it a very unique in their own experience. It's not fair to try and compare anything to Tarkov, because Tarkov is just a separate animal on its own, which will never be replicated or anything like that. But this is going to be a mode where you do have, everything matters. You're going in with an objective. Your objective is not just to hunt players. There's stuff here that you need to complete. You can team up with other squads also, they hinted at. And I mean, the big thing is here is the M13 unlock. So the M13, I can't wait to get that thing, play with it, make my LVAW build. Can't wait to cover that conversion. Let me know your thoughts down below of DMZ. What do you think of it? How do you compare it to Tarkov? Again, I don't think that's a fair comparison whatsoever. And they even state that they're not seeking to replicate. So I wouldn't compare it to that. However, you can't ignore that all the description here that I just read through with you guys definitely sounds like a high-level description of what you would tell your friend who's just getting into Tarkov. But that's good. So maybe it's like the beginner's type of Tarkov. But again, we need to stop comparing it to Tarkov, but you really can't help it just because of the description of this mode. But it looks great. I'm really excited to get into this thing, and again, I might need to be playing this before Warzone 2 because I definitely want my M13B. Let me know what you guys think down below. Till next time, this is Buffner Gaming with the DMZ, official DMZ blog post here. Till next time, Buffner Gaming, out.
Yeah, that gold bar, we gotta go sell that.